This is TechVibe Radio, your front row seat to Pittsburgh's technology and innovation ecosystem. TechVibe is brought to you by Compunetics at compunetics.com, Chorus Call at choruscall.com, Highmark at highmark.com, Huntington Bank at huntington.com, Kindling at thekindlingagency.com, PNC Bank at pnc.com, and Savier at savier.com. Here are your hosts, Audrey Russo and Jonathan Kirsting of the Pittsburgh Technology Council, coming at you from the Huntington Bank studios. Good morning, everybody. This is Jonathan Kirsting with the Pittsburgh Technology Council. So glad you're dialed into TechVibe Radio. We're your front row seat to all the great stuff happening here in Pittsburgh's technology ecosystem. And if you've been a listener to the show for the many years we've been on, you know we get the opportunity to hang out with some of the coolest companies that are developing just crazy partnerships that are solving some of the toughest problems out there. And today we're hanging out with Peoples Natural Gas. In fact, we have Doug Bush hanging out with us today, and he's the Director of Strategy and Corporate Development there. And we're talking about a partnership that's going on that has my mind absolutely blown. They are working with a local startup called HQuest, and also with the University of Pittsburgh Swanson School of Engineering. And the whole idea is to create zero-emission hydrogen energy at scale, which to me is just so exciting. And guess what? They're testing it in McKeesport, which is so cool. If anyone knows me, I have a soft spot for McKeesport in my heart. I worked at the Daily News way back in the day. And when I just see things like this going on, I get excited. So much to learn about the project. So Doug, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Thanks for having me.
As you can see, I'm
excited
pretty,
to be here.
Yeah, I think I'm way more excited than you, man, because I just love, for you, it's like, this is what I do for a living. I see it from the outside and I'm like, here's People's Natural Gas working on a project that is literally, you're trying to make things cleaner, more efficient. And that's just what you guys do day in and day out. I mean, everyone knows, of course, the gas turns on, you know, we take that for granted, but you're doing a lot of work to make sure that we have the smallest impact we can make on the environment and just create efficiencies that aren't there. So I'm excited to learn about this partnership.
Excited to share it with you.
Yeah. So tell me, what do you do with People's Natural Gas?
So I came on as a Director of Strategy and Corporate Development about 2 years ago. My day-to-day is really looking at, our sustainability efforts, new emerging technology, and finding ways how People's Natural Gas can navigate our way through the energy transition. We understand that electrification is coming, energy transition is coming, and sitting on top of the Marcellus Shale, being a natural gas company, we need to find ways to innovate and make our fuel that we're providing, distributing, both cost effective and reduce our GHG emissions.
And these are very competing factors. I mean, we all want inexpensive energy. We take it for granted. And especially here in Western Pennsylvania, where, as you mentioned, we do sit on top of what the world's second largest reserve of natural gas.
Best rock in the world.
Yes, the best rock in the world. I love it. And the idea that we're able to harness this and do it safely and environmentally responsibly, that costs a lot of money. It takes a lot of work and a lot of innovation. And to do that at a price where I don't yell at my heating bill when it comes in, is you guys are in a tough spot sometimes, but you're doing tremendous work around that. And you set some pretty specific goals around being able to just reduce and become more sustainable, which I think is fantastic. And this project plays right into it. And it talks about this thing with, of all things, turquoise hydrogen. This is cool. You got to fill me in on this. This is so exciting.
So turquoise hydrogen is, it gets the name turquoise because it is a blend of green hydrogen and blue hydrogen. To set this up, green hydrogen is creating hydrogen through the electrolysis process using renewable energy as your electricity source. Blue hydrogen is methane reformation, which is a chemical process that actually creates the hydrogen to make it blue. You have carbon capture out of the stack. So you actually capture the carbon after the hydrogen is made in a gaseous form. Turquoise hydrogen is basically a blend of both. And there's different catalysts you can use in turquoise hydrogen, but the one we're working with HQuest is actually microwave pyrolysis. And what's really interesting about their units and their technology is it's distributed. So you have a shipping container size unit with a gigantic microwave in it that brings in the methane. Actually, the microwave superheats the methane into a plasma and cracks it. So it actually strips the physical carbon molecules out of the methane, creating two byproducts. One being pure hydrogen, the other being a commodity called carbon black. Carbon black is, again, a commodity that it has value. It's in pigments, it's in tires, it's in batteries.
Yeah,
so
that's a building block of modern technology as we know it today. And the idea that you're just pulling this straight out, and that carbon is something that would normally be a pollutant, right?
That's correct, yes.
That's what's so amazing to me. I mean, talk about like circular economies here. This is the absolute definition of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And with the energy transition happening, electrification, the need for carbon black is only going to exponentially increase. The current way of creating carbon black is kind of through oils, coal, very dirty sources. So not only are we decarbonizing our natural gas stream or the customer's natural gas stream, we're also giving the ability to offset the dirty carbon black that's being produced using different technologies.
Very interesting. So as you run this process, first off, you talk about a giant microwave and one of these, it looks like a tractor trailer, probably what it is without the wheels. They drop it on the ground. And the idea that it literally microwaves the gas, so it heats it to this high level where it breaks it apart. That's some cool technology. And that's coming from HQuest, right? That's
correct. HQuest has been a great partner of ours. We actually wrote our first letter of interest to HQuest in 2017. So we've been working with them for many, many years. For when it was just George Skopsov, basically at UPark by himself figuring this out, till, you see them now, they're hiring left and right, and they've done a great job and, created a final product that's been running efficiently and reliably at our McKeesport Training Center. So George is a graduate of CMU. You know that he's a very smart guy, and you need really smart people to figure out how do we decarbonize our natural gas that, is underneath our feet.
Exactly. And after the carbon black comes out and the graphene and everything like that, then you have hydrogen. Then you put that hydrogen back in to the methane. Tell me how that works.
That's correct. So the HQuest units produce about a ton of hydrogen a day, running at max capacity. After that hydrogen is produced, we reintroduce it back into our natural gas distribution system. So what is happening is that hydrogen is being blended with natural gas, and at McKeesport in our pilot program, we're testing incremental from 5 to 20%. So that hydrogen is being blended and then being transported and distributed through our pipeline system the same way methane would be. There are some complications, some lessons that need to be learned on hydrogen. Since it is a smaller molecule, that means it's more prone to leakage. It's a lighter molecule. So we need to test, not only do our pipe fittings, are they leaking? We need to check our leak detection equipment,
our
gas chromatographs. We need to make sure that our odorant that we're injecting in the methane so you can smell it. Methane is typically an odorless gas. Making sure that mercaptan is actually being able to blend and you can smell the gases.
So you know what's going on if there is a leak, right?
Some of our leak detection is just using a nose test. So it's very important that first and foremost our biggest priority is safety and reliability for our customers.
Always number one for you guys, without a doubt.
Before we can really move this at scale.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I have so many more questions for you. But before we do, we're going on a quick break because we have so much more to get back to. In case you just tuned in, we are talking to People's Natural Gas. We're talking to Doug Bush, who is just, I don't know, this has to be a project that's very unique, I would say, in the country or not the world, and it's happening right here in Pittsburgh and being tested in McKeesport. So stay tuned with us. We'll be right back. This is Jonathan Kirsting. I'm with the Pittsburgh Technology Council. And of course, go to pghtech.org and check out the Tech Council and how we can help your tech company succeed. Compunetics is the leading developer of unified voice, video, and data collaboration and conferencing applications for the service provider, government, and unique workflow applications. The Summit Olympus and Evergreen platforms, driven by their encrypted user interfaces, enable powerful and secure collaboration. Combined with world-class support and innovative professional services, Compunetics delivers the right solution every time. Learn more at compunetics.com. Every company needs to attract and keep talented people. To do it, you need a strong company story told by those who experience it every day, your employees. So invite your people to be your brand voice and let the Kindling Culture Agency gather and ignite your stories to engage and attract your people. Learn how at sparksomething.big.com. That's sparksomething.big.com. Your dial is set to TechVibe Radio, brought to you by Compunetics, Chorus Call, Highmark, Huntington Bank, Kindling, PNC Bank, and Savier. Here are your hosts, Audrey Russo and Jonathan Kirsting of the Pittsburgh Technology Council, coming at you from the Huntington Bank studios. Thanks for keeping your dial tuned right here to TechVibe Radio. In case you just joined us, we're in the middle of a pretty fun conversation here. This conversation is making me like Pittsburgh region proud right now because it's a story of People's Natural Gas coming together with a startup called HQuest and the University of Pittsburgh's Swanson School of Engineering to basically create zero-emission hydrogen, which to me is just so exciting. The idea of being able to take a natural resource that we have here and being able to power the country, the world with this and do it as cleanly, as efficiently as possible is absolutely amazing. And hanging out with me today, of course, is Doug Bush. He's the Director of Strategy and Corporate Development at People's Natural Gas. Thanks for continuing to hang out with me this morning.
It's been a good conversation so far.
Oh, it's so much fun. I just love these types of things going on because I'm just like I said, I'm so proud of you guys because these are some tough problems to be solved. And before we left, we're talking about the whole system that you're pulling out. You're basically cracking this hydrogen off. Turquoise hydrogen, which I love saying. That'd be a cool t-shirt right there.
That's an idea. Maybe I'll start.
Exactly right. And you're pulling out carbon black, which is a fundamental building block of modern society. Pulling that out, that would normally be a pollutant. And now you're able to put this hydrogen back into the gas to make it more efficient. Let's go back into this whole, you got the pure hydrogen out. You're ready to put it back into the system, and you're working with Pitt on that.
Yes.
How's that coming together? Are you getting close to finding the right ratios?
We haven't because we want to thoroughly, investigate and make sure that we have our benchmarks from other utilities across the country and the world. However, we want to see firsthand of what works in our system. Obviously, each distribution system is infrastructure is different. Yeah. What we're doing with Pitt, and they're the experts on this, is when we introduce hydrogen blend, 5 to 20% is what we're targeting. This can cause embrittlement in our different pipeline materials. So we're for 1,000 hours, we're testing how these hydrogen blends impact our most commonly used pipeline material. That includes bare steel, coated steel, polyethylene pipe. So after the 1,000 hours, they will take out the sample pipe and see how exactly the embrittlement factors and degradation, if there's any, that this hydrogen blend caused.
Interesting. Because that safety is the top concern for People's Natural Gas, and that's why you can't mess around. You got to make sure when you're adding something in like this that it doesn't cause some weakness or causes cracks or creates leaks that you wouldn't normally expect. So that's got to be quite the process to be going through this and really validating it to prove its safety and everything.
Absolutely. We want to be 110% sure that, we have the basic under the foundation to move this forward. This isn't deployable right now, but we're building that foundation right now to be able to implement this hydrogen fuel into our system when we're ready to do so.
Exactly.
You got to crawl before you walk and walk before you run.
Yes, because when it comes to the amount of people you serve, the environment and everything there, you've got to make sure that everything, you got to cross your T's and double dot your I's. Absolutely. And all that kind of stuff, which has me thinking, obviously there's so many benefits to this. Tell me more about what it means when you actually do find some of the right blends. What does that do for the environment? What does that do for the end user if you are putting 5% or 7% hydrogen into the gas line? Yeah,
absolutely. As I mentioned before, running at max, these HQuest units produce about a ton of hydrogen a day. When they create that ton of hydrogen a day, they're also stripping out 5,000 tons of CO2 per year. So this is, that's a significant impact.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's
man.
and if you look at the daisy chain of this, you're also creating carbon black in a cleaner, more environmentally friendly way.
Because there's impact over there. Because normally they'd be using they'd be using fossil fuels to create that carbon black.
Supplementing
right?
that, and also when the end user burns the gas, you're also creating 5 to 20% reduction on that end
because
as well.
Because you took that out.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Where'd the idea from this come from? It's so cool that this was an idea at one point, but then it came together with you reaching out to HQuest to then bringing in Pitt and everything.
Absolutely. I think it was kind of a Goldilocks situation. We had, a very, innovative company right here in our backyard doing something that really solves a lot of problems for us as a gas utility. We had the backing from our corporate owners, Essential Utilities. So we're really pushing hard, and the support is behind us 100% to continue to pursue this technology.
Wow, that really shows people's natural gas. It shows your commitment to this region here and how much you do care about what's going on, because you want to find the best way to get the energy and for people to use it, because we're all in this world together. I think it's what it comes down to. We all want this world to be as pristine and clean as possible. We also need to use a lot of energy while we're at it. And so I like the way you guys are bringing this together. And one of the things as I was doing some research on this, maybe we talk about just for a couple minutes, is I think people probably notice a lot of their, as I would say in Pittsburgh, a lot of the streets being tore up. as you've been replacing a lot of the old lines, which is a big contributor of greenhouse gas emissions, because some of these lines are leaky and they're like 100-year-old lines. I know, like in my neighborhood, my house was built in 1890. And they did our gas lines a while ago, and I was like, wow, those things were pretty crunchy looking. And we're putting all the new plastic lines in.
Right. Yes, People's been operating in Western Pennsylvania for 130 years, so we're going to have aging pipeline. We have 15,000 miles of pipe throughout our service territory, and a lot of this pipe was cast iron from the early 1900s.
From 1890.
And, they are prone to leaks, and we set very ambitious goals for our emissions reduction. That's 60% by 2035. We're already well on our way. We have decreased 17% since 2019. We're about 800 to 1,000 miles through our pipeline replacement program, which we're planning to replace 3,000 miles. And we're the leader of our LDC peers within Pennsylvania for pipeline replacement. So we are taking emissions and environmental impact very seriously.
Oh, without a doubt. That's cool, man. I know people get all disgruntled, they're tearing things up. But hey, man, they always put it right back.
We apologize for that.
And it looks better. I tell you what. Very cool. So the idea is, my goodness, the idea that you had this project going on, being able to put hydrogen in like this is just so amazing. Have it burning cleaner. This is such a cool project. You guys have to be working on all types of fun stuff. There's like a skunk works going on there where you're working on other things. Anything you can allude to, any other fun stuff?
Just me twiddling my thumbs and trying to figure things out in my office while, trying to make partnerships with local companies that are really on the cutting edge of things.
Absolutely. That's so important. Well, obviously, the fact that you're working with a company like HQuest, that's where I got excited in the beginning of the show is, at the Tech Council, we love all of our members, right? We think that everyone's so cool, but we have a special little place in our heart for our startups, because sometimes they're at the leading edge, and for them to partner with a big company, that requires some trust when a place like People's Natural Gas is like, let's see what this little 2-person operation can do for us. And they can do a lot sometimes.
Absolutely. And their technology, as I mentioned before, solves our biggest 2 problems. One is regulatory. So the Pennsylvania Utility Commission sets forth least cost fuel procurement, which is section 1307F. So we have to go out and source a least cost fuel for our customers. We cannot buy an RNG for 5x the cost. We can't introduce hydrogen for 5 times the cost. We have to secure the least cost fuel, which is indexed natural gas, which again, we're sitting on the cheapest natural gas in the entire world right here. So with this HQuest unit, they actually sell the carbon black as a profit center. So they can pass through the hydrogen to the utility, to us, at a BTU equivalent price as methane would be. Right. So we're not charging our customers more for introducing hydrogen using this technology. And as we mentioned before, we do have old pipeline here. We have infrastructure that needs replaced. The distributed nature of these units, if you have room for a shipping container in your parking lot, we can bypass all the inefficiencies of upgrading the infrastructure before we can give you this. We can set it right down into your parking lot. We can strip out 5,000 tons of carbon right out of your air that you're breathing, right at your place of business.
So when this comes ready to go, I think you're going to have some companies out there that are going to want this.
It's scalable, and if we can pump them out as fast as HQuest can produce them.
Absolutely. And if people want to learn more about this, what's the best website they can go to so they can kind of nerd out? Because I tell you what, there's a great video on there as well too. Of course, done by Tech Council member PMI, which I was very excited. The video really explains it well.
peoplesgas.com/hydrogen.
Perfect. We just had a little something there. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm just so excited for this thing. So glad I could tell a little bit of the story. There's going to be way more to come. You guys have the open door policy here on TechVibe. Come back anytime. We want to keep talking about all your innovation. You're the best.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'd love to come back and talk to you some more.
Fantastic stuff. Hey, in case you forgot, this is Jonathan Kirsting with the Pittsburgh Technology Council. Thanks for tuning in every Sunday like this and learning more. And of course, if you want more TechVibe, go to wherever you get your favorite podcast, and we are there so you can listen to us on demand. Have a great weekend, everybody, and go to pghtech.org. Thanks for geeking out with us on TechVibe Radio. Tune in next Sunday for more tech and innovation stories right here from Pittsburgh. TechVibe is brought to you by Compunetics at compunetics.com, Chorus Call at choruscall.com, Highmark at highmark.com, Huntington Bank at huntington.com, Kindling at thekindlingagency.com, PNC Bank at pnc.com, and Savier at savier.com. And we're always coming at you from the Huntington Bank Studios.